Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Just wanted to welcome the show. Got all kind of crazy stuff going on today. All kind of awesome. Just first of the year stuff we're looking at last 12 months of real estate here. We're going to dig into one of my favorite things, which is the micro market. And I'll just start looking at how does each zip code stack up both last month, but more importantly, last year overall. We'll break down each one. Some very, very interesting numbers, so to speak. Some areas had significant declines, double digits really. And other ones had not so bad numbers. We'll talk about how your area stacked up the last 12 months, aka 2023. We'll talk about how they stacked up in December, and some great news overall in terms of interest rates. We talked about last week. We was like a dead stop pretty much through December until we had some great news with rates. They finally dropped back below 7% in the sixes. We've seen a huge jump just since the first week of the year. Pending sales up 32%, which is awesome. We'll talk about that and we'll track that like we do in our office every single month, which is awesome to look at. With that, my team's absolutely crushing it through last year. Already through this year, we've been putting 5, 6, 7 deals together a day so far this year. And so very, very excited about that. Some amazing, amazing success stories. Our team's been absolutely crushing it overall with that. And also a shocking study came out for real estate agents last year. And it was from a national news in real estate called MN News. They said 49% of real estate agents sold one home or less in the last 12 months, which is crazy. So you're talking about your largest asset. We'll talk about that study and that report as well, but all kind of great stuff we'll talk about today. Also, in addition to that, our team's looking to grow and expand in 2024. We can mention as many agents have been running for the hills. We've been doubling down as usual, capturing market share. We have an amazing scholarship program for anyone looking to get in real estate. We'll talk about that in today's show as well.
Time and you're not sure who you're listening to or what you're listening to, it's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, hosted by, of course, Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan has been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, and other national publications. You may be seeing him on TV with NBC and also with Fox and Friends, the morning show. You heard the personal endorsements here backed by Sean Hannity, also Barbara Corcoran, Gary LeVox. Put them all together, it's just totally unprecedented. Now, that's one thing, but the other thing is that Blake has trademark systems for both home sellers and home buyers. They are trademarked, so we can't give you all the details, but more than happy every week to tell you the most important part of that system.
Absolutely. This is a promise I made myself, and I talk about this every week. And I made a promise, I don't know, we've been doing the show 14 plus years, and I made a promise that, look, no matter what, I'm going to talk about this problem, because no matter what I talk about in the show, no matter how many cool things you talk about, people still make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. It does not matter how affluent they are. It doesn't matter how many properties they've sold, how many properties they've owned. They still make the same mistake. And the mistake they make comes down to thinking that all real estate agents are the same. And it could not be any further from the truth. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, right? We just talked about that stat. We'll talk about later on in the show. 49% of real estate agents in North America sold one home or less in the last 12 months. And so you're talking about, for most people, their largest asset, right? If you're charged with a crime you did not commit, do you want an attorney who's tried one case in the last 12 months? Or do you want an attorney who's the absolute best in that type of law, who specializes in that type of law, who's experienced, who's in the courtroom all the time, who knows the nuances, the ins and the outs, right? That's what gives you a competitive advantage, and that's what gets you success in the courtroom. And you should demand that same level of excellence for your largest asset. But for some reason, people they'll spend 30 years, building a hard-earned equity and 15 minutes picking an agent, which is just so unbelievable to think about how they do that, because they don't really have any criteria on how to pick it. They don't really understand it. So the fact is, I want everyone to know is that the single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only. And that thing is the agent that you choose, period. Not the wall color, not the grass quality, not the time of the year you list. It comes down to the agent you have and how they actually execute. And the reality is, when you're selling a property, we talk about this all the time, but I just got to reiterate it, is when you're selling a property, it's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one of those handled correctly, what it does is puts money in your pocket, the property gets sold. That means they execute at the highest level. And in essence, they stack the dominoes, right? So basically, variable 1 got handled, variable 2, variable 3, and you stack all those up over 118. If they're done right, that gives you a competitive advantage. It means you sell a property faster and you sell it for the most amount of money, right? If anything's handled incorrectly, and that could be anything from the price strategy. We see that happen all the time. Agent doesn't have very good marketing. For example, in that study, 49% of agents sold one home or less. Now, here's the crazy part, right? Simple math. if they sold one home or less in the last 12 months, how much money do you think they have in marketing dollars? Zero, right? Because they're just trying to survive in that scenario. And here's the thing: the average agent in our marketplace sells 4 homes a year or less, which is unbelievable. There's not enough money to pay rent with, to even put food on the table with, much less take money and spend on your behalf in marketing dollars to get your property the exposure that it needs. There's all these other things like the quality of the photos, the order of the photos, all these aspects make or break the home sale in the back. And you want to make sure it's handled with someone who's a true expert, who knows the ins and outs and that, who sells multiple properties a day in that scenario, who's very, very versed into what to look out for. They have a real-time pulse on what's happening. And so that's the key thing I want to share in every single part of this show. And so what I did is said, look, there's got to be a better way, because what most agents did when I got in the business, what everyone did where I was a Coldwell banker, is me and 200 plus agents. They didn't care about me. I didn't care about them. They actually were mad when I get a listing because they were jealous about it. And the reality was they wouldn't even show my listing. And so what happened was there was no alignment within the organization when I was there. But the problem is every agent operated the same way in the industry. They basically did the 3 Ps. They'd say anything and everything to get a listing, right? Because they're trying to survive. They're just in scarcity mode. So they tell you whatever it takes to get the listing. They get a listing. The only thing they do is they put it into MLS, the second P. And 3, they just pray that someone else brings a buyer. And meanwhile, they're down the street trying to get the next listing. And it was so crazy to see that. And I was like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this, where you can actually get a predictable result. You can actually control those variables. And so we sought out and really just reverse engineered every single thing that had to happen and created systems and processes and people to help manage those proactively in the right way. And so I designed this thing called the Guaranteed Sold System. It's the only proven system, so it's twice as fast and for up to a 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. I designed it. It's exclusive to us. I do licenses other agents, other parts of the country, but it works very, very, very well. And that's how we're able to sell homes faster for more money, by having lots of technology backing that up to make sure the right things happen in the right order every single time. We have a team of people who are able to push and make sure they can hustle. We have inside salespeople. We have outside salespeople. We have listing specialists, buyer specialists, closing coordinators, listing coordinators, real-time photographer and videographer, real-time graphic design. All that stuff's done in-house so we can control those variables, which is very, very, very powerful to be able to help do and get the right result with that. And so when you're dealing with the largest asset, right, small little nuances, small things can cost 10, 20, 30, $40,000. You want to make sure they're handled correctly, they're done seamlessly, and that you're able to obviously get maximum equity in your pocket on the back end. And that's exactly what that system does. And so the same thing for buyers out there, right? Pretty much the opposite side of the transaction. There's 100 plus variables when you're buying a property. If each one's handled correctly, it saves you money. You get the property that you want. If anything's handled incorrectly, it costs you more money, or you don't get the property that you want, that you desire, or you end up, like I mentioned, overpaying for it, or getting something that has a massive defect that you don't know about because you weren't protected really correctly. And so if you want to know more how they work, reach out, call me. We have this thing for buyers out there called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Gives you priority access to foreclosures, stress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as the home inspection to get you that closing table successfully, but really to make sure that you get a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So if you know more how it works, reach out, call me, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com. Take a quick break, right back in a second.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, the real estate market is constantly changing. Now, here to give us more insight into this is my friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, I know certain programs make it a lot easier for the seller. Which ones do you offer?
Hey, Sean. In addition to our traditional program that sells your home for top dollar, we have an instant offer, a multi-offer, and a guaranteed offer program. I represent a large investment fund with millions of dollars who are looking to buy homes in the Grand Strand right now.
And what kind of return can you expect from them?
Here's what I'll say. Every seller's needs are different. Some need maximum convenience, and we deliver that every single time. Some need the most amount of money, and we have a program for that as well. We have a trademark program that nets sellers up to 5 to 10% more money than traditional industry methods.
All right, great insight, and thank you for this update. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD, or online at BlakeSloan.com. That's BlakeSloan.com. And consider your home sold.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sales, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers at time crunch, we can agree to sell it on a certain date, date after your home was even ready.
That's great. And if the seller has a big problem,
We use our approved marketing plan to sell it for the highest price.
my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Market update, all kind of stuff going on right now. We have two types of numbers we'll talk about. We had a brutal December in terms of closings that happened, right? Very, very low. Is actually the lowest amount of closings we've seen in December in our marketplace since January 2016. You kind of really saw since June of last year as rates went up. The market declined significantly pretty much every single month, but finished out in December for resale homes in the entire Grand Strand, which is, it goes inland to like Dillon, Marion, down past Georgetown, all the way into southern North Carolina. But looking at our entire MLS, there's 293 closed sales last month, down 12.8% from the same month last year. But if you go back, the last time there was 293 sales was back in 2016 overall, and that's a long, long time ago. Like that, we hit close in September at 300, September 2019, September 2018 was that. If I go back to my 10-year graph here, the last time it got back to there, it was around September 2016, which is crazy. So that's just something to kind of look at overall. It's one of those things that, like, look, January 2016 was last time we had that, and it was 270 sales versus this month at 293. So very, very interesting. And so that's just something we talked about before here the last really few months here on the show, just seeing that slow down significantly. We have some good news, though, as rates went down in January, has been hot like crazy. We'll talk about that, though, in a second. Looking at last month's sales, like I said, down 12.8%. Prices still did decent. They're down month versus month, but year versus year, it was pretty much flat. So it was up 0.4% at $370,000 for median price. Average sale price was up year versus year of 7.1% at $481,566, so $481,000 overall. And what's keeping prices holding steady, even though sales were so low, the lowest since January 2016, it has been very, very low inventory, right? A lot of people are stuck with low interest rates. They weren't able to move, especially when rates are 7-8%. And so what's happening is inventory right now, so very, very, very low, only 3.3 months of inventory on the marketplace, which is still a super seller's market. And so that means if you're selling, you have a massive advantage because there's still more buyers than there are sellers looking to buy, right? And so we've been doing a lot of math on that. There's still about 5 million unit home shortage in terms of the amount of buyers who are needing homes or looking to buy homes, who are on the sidelines or either priced out of the market. And as rates go down, you're going to see a lot of those buyers jump back into the game and probably see prices shoot back up, or difficulty buying shoot back up, as we're already seeing multiple offers just since rates have gone down into the sixes. So that's something we'll kind of look at as well. One of the other things we talk about a lot here also has to do with just looking at showings per listing. Right now, the average showing per listing in our MLS is 3.1 showings per listing, and that's on average, right? So the average listing that's in the MLS doesn't really have many marketing dollars put behind it. And so the average amount of showings that any listing gets is 3.1 showings per listing. Now, the problem with that is the average amount of showings it takes to get an offer is 13.8. And so you can see the problem there. And that's why exposure matters so much. That's why the agent you choose matters so much. That's why the amount of money the agent you choose spends on your behalf also matters a tremendous amount, because the whole key here is, how do I drive traffic, right? I can't force someone to like the home, but what I can do is I can force the viewing of that to get in front of them to find the buyers that are more likely to buy that property, which in turn they click the button to go look at it, and then I drive traffic to the property, and the property sells itself once they're in there. And it's very, very important to kind of look at that overall. Condo sales, very, very similar in terms of numbers. Closed sales were pretty much flat for December. They were actually 0.0 change at 348 condos, the same exact it was overall. So if you go back to really looking at December 2022, 348. December 2023, 348. So very interesting numbers there looking at that. Prices for condos, average price up last month, 5.1% at 271,000. Median price up 3.4% at 232,000. And inventory still very, very low there at 4.5 months. Some interesting numbers I want to kind of do. And those are what we call the rearview mirror numbers. Those are ones that closed last month in December. The only caveat there is that if it closed in December, you enter contract 30 to 60 days prior to that. And so you want to make sure that you're keeping a real-time pulse of what's happening, because if it went under contract and it goes through the loan process, underwriting, all this stuff, it's taking 30, 60 days before it closes. So that's not real-time data of what's happening with buyers real time. And so one thing we do on this show, we do in my office every single morning, look at how many properties went under contract the last 7 days every single morning. And so look at last week's show, like 2 weeks ago, the show was significantly lower because we just came out of New Year's Eve, but I just tracked the last 2 weeks. Right now, the amount of properties went under contract the last 7 days, 470 properties, which the coolest part is in the last 2 weeks, that number is up 32%. And that obviously is a correlation between people who are just paralyzed during the holidays, also combined with interest rates coming back down to the mid to high sixes, which has been great news for a lot of buyers who've been waiting on the sidelines. We're seeing people move and those gears start moving again, which has been very, very good. The amount of volume under contract last 7 days, $179,822,874, which is awesome. And that's a 31.61% increase just in 2 weeks. So a 31% increase in pending deals the last 2 weeks, which has been amazing. Of those properties, 14 properties were over $1 million, which is awesome. 81 properties over $500,000, which is awesome. And we've also seen active properties tick up because we see this all the time. People through the holidays take their house off the market. They tend to obviously, want to delay until the first of the year. And so right now, that number of active properties for sale and just single family resale homes in Horry County is 949 active properties. So we're seeing that happen. If you're thinking about selling, I would definitely do it earlier than usual with the interest rate going back down. Obviously, we're not sure what will happen long term. Some predicting goes down, some predicting goes up. But I want to make sure I'm getting in earlier rather than later this year. And so we'll talk about that here in a second. Really quick, I'm going to dive into the micro market numbers. Obviously, that's the hardest to do on the radio, but it's the one that I get the most questions about and people care the most about because, hey, it's like, what's my neighborhood doing? What's my area doing? And Myrtle Beach is a very dynamic market. So it's so different based on where you're at, how close you are to the ocean, how far inland you are, right? Different nuances and market types based on each zip code. And so that's why it's important to know that data and look at that. So if you look at Myrtle Beach, which is obviously the main hub, I use that to kind of keep the best pulse on what's going on. That's 29577, 29572. If you look at last year's numbers, sales were down overall 15%. And so 2022, there was 934, 2023, 794. Prices, though, at the end of the year went up 10% overall, which is great. So 2022 is 454, 2023 500,000, which is great overall with that. And so look at just December alone, though, sales are down significantly in Myrtle Beach, down 28% overall. Median sale price, though, up December versus December. So it looks at December 22 versus December 2023. In 22, it was 438,000. 2023, 566,000. So a 29% increase, which is huge. The amount of homes for sale on the market down 27%. And so that's significant. That's what's helping protect price. That's why you're seeing prices go up, even though sales have gone down, because inventory is very, very, very low right now. Condo sales year to date in Myrtle Beach last year were down 25.4%. The good news, though, prices were up 5% from 219 to 230, which is awesome. Looking at just last month, condo sales down 11.4%, but prices last month in condos up 16.6%, which is great news. So Myrtle Beach doing pretty decent based on kind of what's happening overall with that. And I'm having a little bit of technical. There we go. North Myrtle Beach 29582. Closed sales last year down 4.3%. So not bad at all. North Myrtle Beach did great in terms of sales there. Looking at prices, pretty much flat. So year versus year, 2022 is 537, 2023 541, which is great news there. Last month, though, prices in North Myrtle Beach up 22%. So in December 2022, 537. December 2023, 657, which is awesome news overall in terms of that. Little River prices, sales, year to date last year. So year to date means January 1 through December 31st last year. Sales down 11.2% for homes. Prices pretty much flat. So from 375, 795 to 378. So pretty much flat there overall in Little River. If you look at last month alone, though, closed sales were up year versus year. So December 2023 versus December 2022, they're up 24.2%, which is awesome. Prices down slightly from 407 to 385. And again, I think that's really just some nuances where there's a lot of different types of properties in Little River. So you'd want to break that down by neighborhood just because there's just less sales there overall in that scenario. Loris and Long, which is 29568, 29569. Sales last year down 2.4%. Not too bad there overall. Prices up 3.5% from 293 to 303, 370, which is awesome. Last month alone, closed sales in December up 43%. Look at year versus year. So December 2022, 51. December 2023, 73 sales, which is awesome news. And you're seeing that a lot more people are moving more inland as affordability is better. You're seeing Highway 9 kind of open up there. You see all the neighborhoods and things happening, which is why you're seeing these numbers like they are. Median sale price up 2.9%, which is great, from 301 to 310. So great news there overall in terms of that. Obviously not many condo sales there. Soxty, last year sales were up 3.6%. It performed very, very well. Prices last year in Soxty up 4.1% from 325 to 338, which is awesome. Last month in December, sales were down 30%, but prices up 9.3% from 338 to 369. And what we do for our clients is we tend to combine both of those data sets. We always look at month versus month. It's a little bit of seasonality there. You can kind of see how is each December stacking up. And we'll also look at year to date so we can kind of see what the trend is overall from a strategy standpoint with our clients. Looking at Surfside Beach, where I grew up, 29575 zip code. Year to date sales last year down 13.1%. Prices down 4.3% from 374 to 359. Looking at last month, sales though were up significantly, up 37% from 29 sales in December 2022 to 40 sales December 2023. Prices though were down last month 13% from 379 to 329. Significant decline there. Garden City, Myrtle's Inlet, which is 29576. Sales last year overall down 22%. Interesting there. But the good news is prices up 4.4% from 428 to 447. So extra little equity added overall. December didn't do too well in Garden City, Myrtle's Inlet. Sales down 35%. Prices down 7.9% from 445 to 410. In the Pawleys Island, Litchfield, sales last year down 21%. A lot less sales there. But here's the cool part. Prices up significantly. Prices were up last year in Pawleys Island 20.2%. So from 538,000 in December 2022 to 648,000, which is obviously December 2023. That's 648,000, which is great news overall. Georgetown, sales last year overall down 16.9%. Prices though up 10.7% at 325,000, up from 293. So if you look at that, they're all over the board, right? Some are down significantly. Some are down 20+%. Some are up 10+%, depending on where you're at and what's going on. That's why it's so important that you have a true agent who's an expert, who understands this. We also have software that we design that allows us to go into your actual neighborhood, and we can export all the data and look exactly what's happening. We can actually put it in a visual form for you, so you can see here's what's happening, here's what's going on. And it just allows us to pick strategy for us to make sure that we can push the limit for our clients based on both seasonality, based on inventory, based on how many homes are for sale, based on how many homes are forecasted to come on the market seasonally. There's a lot of cool tools that we have that allow us to be able to advise our clients based on that. So if you want to know more how that works, or just an instant home evaluation, we also have this amazing tool for our clients or any of our listeners out there. I spend a lot of money on it, but it's a dashboard for you as a homeowner. You can put any of the properties you own on it. You have your own homeowner dashboard. It keeps you updated real time. You get a weekly, monthly. You can have all. Let's say you own 7 properties. Put all 7 properties right in your dashboard, and it'll tell you, just click on each property, and it'll give you the overall 12-month history, most recent sales. It shows your real-time equity based on what's owed on there. A lot of cool tools. And the coolest part, you can do on your cell phone. It takes 2 seconds. It's like a little quick chat bot. It says, hey, look, what's your address? Is this data from the county correct? You confirm it. Boom. It gives you all the data you want. You just go to blakesloan.com for that. You can also use that same software to get instant cash offer online. It's super simple, super quick for you. And we just provide that as an extra tool for all of our listeners, our clients, people that come in. And even let's say we had one lady that she sold here, moved to a different state. The software still works in that other state. She just put the house here marked as sold, put the new house on it in the other state. Again, it doesn't have to be a local property. So if you're in town, you own other investment properties, other states, add all those to that dashboard. It's an amazing tool, and it's a lot better than like a Zillow or something because it pulls from multiple data sources. So it pulls from all the major data sources, and it shows you in graphs what each data source shows the property's worth. So it's much more accurate overall. And I think one thing that we'll keep in mind to watch out for and see prices hopefully continue to climb up is going to be interest rates. Interest rates, great news right now. Last week's show was 6.76. Right now, we're still holding pretty tight, 6.77% for a 30-year fixed rate, which is awesome. A 15-year fix right now, 6.0%. A 30-year jumbo loan, 7.0%. A 5-year ARM, which is adjust rate mortgage, 6.2%. A 30-year FHA, 6.10%. And a 30-year VA, 6.09% overall. And so that's amazing news here in the marketplace. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot more buyers come in. Like I mentioned, just pending deals in the last 2 weeks of 32% from where it was. So great news overall. If you're thinking about selling, definitely take action earlier than later because buyers jump back in who've been waiting in that. So we'll take a quick break, right back in a second with our brand new hot buyers alert.
WRNN listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools and marketing.
3 minutes
Get the
left.
highest
Okay, perfect.
sales
Thank
price
you.
possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. And here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with two mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 five-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune into Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers from all over the globe, really not just nationally, but internationally. We spend tens and tens of thousands of dollars a month every single month. We outspend the average agent in this marketplace 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. And so hey, look, what makes you different is our team here. Team model gives a huge advantage. I'm able to outspend the average agent because we're much more efficient in our follow-up, much more efficient in our conversions. So like right now, active home buyers that we have looking for properties on our website with a username, password account that we've been doing this for a long time, putting our money where our mouth is and actually showing our clients, talking about on the radio, 74,985 active home buyers. Again, 74,985 active home buyers from all across the country. I have Myra from Jonesboro, Tennessee. I got Shirley and Ed from Newport News, Virginia. I got Cindy Pollock from San Francisco, California. Frank from Ellenville, New York. I got Matt from Myrtle Beach. I got Shannon from Paul's Island. I got Shantoria from New York, which obviously Manhattan, New York City. Latrobe, PA. Chicago, Illinois. Canton, Ohio. Winthrop Harbor, Illinois. Drexel Hill, PA. And so we have massive reach, and we're able to bring these buyers that come in, team them up with our team, match them up to our listings, and that's how we sell properties faster and for more money. If you want to know what makes you different, like, look, we're aggressive, right? We sell between 600, 800 homes a year in how we operate the past couple of years, and so we're very, very good at what we do. Our team makes 16,000 phone calls per week on average, matching up buyers and sellers. And so if you want to make what makes you difference in that single agent that sold 3 or 4 homes last year, compare that to a team that makes 16,000 phone calls a week. We match up buyers and sellers, and that's what we're here to do with you in that scenario. And so overall, really quick, awesome success story. Big shout out to Joe and Tanya. They own a high-end home in North Myrtle Beach. They've been trying to sell it so they can move close to their grandchild in North Carolina. Unfortunately, had property list with a friend. No action, no offers for 6 months. They almost gave up on their move. Thankfully, Joe heard about Blake Sloan and us and our guaranteed sold system on the radio, decided to give us a call. We came in, identified the problem. The marketing, the agent only sold 2 homes in the last 12 months. I came in, we designed a custom plan, launched a global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtual reality walkthrough, and drone photography. Drove massive traffic, had it under contract, amazing offer in 5 days. Now, Joe and Tanya can move on to North Carolina, be closer to family, and put maximum equity in their pockets. So if you want to have that success too, don't mess up in 2024. Reach out, call us first, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com. We'll see you back here next week.